In the misty hills of Evergreen Valley, Oregon, where the rain fell like a perpetual whisper and the forests stretched endlessly, stood the Whispering Paws Animal Sanctuary. It was a modest building, its walls painted a cheerful sky blue to mask the heartbreaks that often walk through its doors. On a crisp autumn morning in October 2023, as the leaves turned fiery shades of red and gold, the sanctuary's doors swung open to admit a sight that would forever change the lives of those within. Marcus Hale, a burly man in his late 50s, with a weathered face and calloused hands from years of farm work, lumbered in carrying what appeared to be a small bear in his arms. But it wasn't a bear, it was a cat, an enormous cat with fur as black as midnight streaked with silver, eyes like glowing emeralds, and a body that seemed to defy the laws of feline anatomy. The cat's paws dangled limply, each one the size of a human fist, and his tail, thick as a rope, swayed with reluctant resignation. Receptionist Alina Vasquez, a kind-hearted woman in her 30s with a ponytail and a NAMA tag that read, "Paw Protector," looked up from her computer screen. Her eyes widened behind her glasses. She'd seen all sorts of animals in her 5 years at the sanctuary: starving strays, abused dogs, even a runaway parrot, but nothing like this. The cat must have weighed at least 25 pounds, perhaps more, and his length from nose to tail tip rivaled that of a medium-sized dog. "Can I help you?" Lena asked, her voice steady despite the surprise. Marcus set the cat down on the counter with a grunt, the surface creaking under the weight. The cat, whom Marcus introduced as Orion, sat there, motionless. His massive frame hunched as if trying to make himself smaller. "Yeah, I need to surrender him," Marcus said, avoiding eye contact. "He's got issues, bad ones." Alina leaned forward, her instincts kicking in. She'd learned to read between the lines with owners like this, the ones who showed up unannounced, their stories laced with half-truths. "What kind of issues?" She probed gently, glancing at Orion, who was now staring at the floor with an expression of profound sadness. "He's aggressive," Marcus muttered, shifting his weight. "With the kids? My grandkids come over, the little ones especially, and he won't leave them alone. Chases them, swats at them. We can't have that. The older kids are fine, but the toddlers. It's too dangerous." Lena nodded, but something didn't add up. Orion wasn't hissing or arching his back. If anything, he seemed defeated, his ears flattened against his skull. Pets didn't become aggressive in a vacuum, she knew. Often it was fear, mistreatment, or misunderstanding. "Has he ever hurt anyone?" she asked. Marcus hesitated. "Right. Really? But it's only a matter of time. Look at the size of him. He's a monster." "A monster?" Lena thought. The cat looked more like a plush toy come to life, albeit an oversized one. She reached out tentatively, her hand hovering near Orion's head. To her astonishment, the cat leaned into her touch. A deep rumble emanating from his chest to purr, so loud it vibrated the counter. His eyes half closed in contentment, and he nudged her hand for more. This wasn't the behavior of an aggressive animal. Lena's suspicions grew. Perhaps the children had been too rough, poking and prodding, turning play into terror for the cat. Or maybe Orion's size alone intimidated them, leading to screams and chases that he interpreted as games. Whatever the case, Marcus was done. He filled out the surrender forms quickly, without a goodbye pat or a lingering glance, and walked out, leaving Orion behind like an unwanted piece of furniture. Alina scooped Orion up, or tried to. He was heavier than he looked, carried him to the intake room. "Poor boy," she murmured. "Let's get you settled." As the sanctuary staff gathered, whispers of awe filled the air. Orion was examined by the vet, Dr. Lydia Grant, a no-nonsense woman with a soft spot for giants. "He's a Norwegian forest cat mix, I'd say," Dr. Grant announced after weighing him. 26 pounds, 11 ounces, 9 years old, neutered. Healthy as can be, no medical issues, just a big boy who needs love. The staff named him Orion after the constellation, fitting for his starry silver flecks and immense presence. But beneath his calm exterior, they sensed a story of trauma. In his previous home, Orion had started as a kitten, a fluffy ball of joy. As he grew and grew and grew with the family's dynamics shifted. The grandchildren, especially the younger ones, aged 3 and 5, viewed him as a beast from their fairy tales. They'd scream at his approach, running away in mock horror that quickly became real fear. Orion, confused and seeking affection, would follow, his massive paws thumping on the floor. To the adults, it looked like harassment. To Orion, it was desperation for understanding. No one had taught the kids gentleness. No one had intervened to break the cycle. Instead, they blamed the cat, and now he was here, abandoned. The Whispering Paws Sanctuary wasn't just a shelter, it was a beacon for second chances. Executive Director Samuel Thorne, a retired teacher with a beard like Santa Claus and a heart to match, believed in storytelling as a tool for adoption. Every animal has a tale, he'd say. We just need to share it. With Orion, they knew they had something special. His size was a hook, but his personality, gentle, affectionate, always ready for a belly rub, was the heart. They snapped photos. Orion sprawled across 3 cat beds, his paws dangling off the edges. Orion purring as volunteers scratched his chin. Orion gazing out the window with those mesmerizing green eyes. The social media post went live that afternoon on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Meet Orion, the gentle behemoth, the caption read. This 26 lb Norwegian forest cat mix was surrendered for behavioral issues. But we've seen nothing but love from him. He's a cuddle machine looking for a home where his size is celebrated, not feared. #adopt, don't shop, #giant cat, #rescue story. Samuel expected a few shares, maybe a dozen inquiries. What happened next was a digital tsunami. Within hours, the post exploded. Likes poured in by the thousands, comments flooded with heart emojis and exclamations. He's huge, like a lynx. I need him in my life. Poor baby, misunderstood giants deserve better. By evening, it had reached 500,000 views. News outlets picked it up, local TV stations, then national blogs like the Dodo and BuzzFeed. Hashtags trended, #Orion the Giant, #Gentle Behemoth. Celebrities retweeted, animal influencers collaborated. In just 24 hours, the post hit 3 million impressions, drawing a crowd to the sanctuary. People drove from neighboring states, some to adopt other animals inspired by Orion's story, others just to catch a glimpse. But amidst the chaos, Samuel worried. Viral fame was a double-edged sword. It could lead to impulse adoptions, people wanting Orion as a novelty rather than a companion. We need the right home, he told the staff, someone who sees beyond the size. Across town in a cozy apartment overlooking the valley, Sofia Rivera scrolled through her phone during her lunch break. Sofia was 28, a graphic designer with a passion for animals. She'd grown up on a farm, surrounded by cats and dogs. But city life had limited her to one pet, a spirited tabby named Luna, lately. She'd been thinking about a companion for Luna, someone to match her energy, perhaps a bigger cat to balance. The household. The post appeared in her feed like fate. Orion's photo stopped her cold. Those eyes that fur, the story of misunderstanding, it resonated. Sofia had been bullied as a kid for her height. She knew what it felt like to be judged. By appearance, look at this guy, she texted her roommate and best friend Alex, attaching the link. We need him. Alex, a laid-back software engineer with a love for adventure, replied instantly, holy crap, he's massive. Let's go see him after work. They arrived at the sanctuary as the sun dipped low, the parking lot overflowing. Families milled about, peering into kennels, all buzzing about the giant cat. Lena greeted them at the door, her face tired but smiling. If you're here for Orion, join the line. He's meeting potential adopters one by one. The wait was torturous, an hour of watching groups enter the visiting room and emerge. Some laughed, saying he was too much cat. Others seemed smitten but hesitant about the responsibility. One family with young children backed out, echoing the original owner's fears. What if he's already taken? Sofia whispered to Alex, twisting her hands. Then it wasn't meant to be, Alex replied, but his eyes betrayed the same anxiety. Finally, their turn. The room was simple. Toys scattered, a scratching post, and Orion lounging in the center like a king on his throne. He looked up as they entered, his emerald eyes appraising. Sophia approached slowly, kneeling to his level. "Hey, big guy," she said softly, extending a hand. Orion sniffed, then bumped his head against her palm, his purr rumbling like a distant thunder. It was instant, a spark of recognition. He rolled over, exposing his belly, inviting trust. Sophia laughed, scratching gently, and Orion's paws kneaded the air in bliss. Alex joined in, and Orion greeted him with equal affection, weaving between their legs. The staff watched, nodding. "He's choosing you," Elena said. "We've seen it all day. No one else got this response." Tears welled in Sophia's eyes. Paperwork was signed, fees paid, and just like that, Orion was theirs. As they left the crowd, parted whispers following, "They're the ones." The drive home was filled with excitement. Orion sat in a carrier that barely contained him, meowing curiously. Sophia and Alex's apartment was pet-friendly, with high ceilings and sunny windows perfect. For a giant, Luna, the tabby, waited at the door, her tail twitching. Upon seeing Orion, she arched her back, hissing softly. "Easy girl," Sophia cooed, keeping them separated at first. They also had a small terrier mix named Spike, rescued from the streets. 2 years ago, Spike barked once, then tilted his head, intrigued rather than scared. The introduction was gradual. Orion explored his paws silent on the hardwood floors. He sniffed every corner, climbed the cat tree, which creaked under his weight, and finally settled on the couch, claiming half of it. That night, something unexpected happened. As Sophia and Alex slept, a noise echoed a low yowl from Orion. They rushed to find him pacing, eyes wide. Was it stress? Homesickness? No, it was more. In the moonlight, they noticed a scar on his flank, hidden under fold but telling. The vet had missed it in the initial exam. The next day, a follow-up visit revealed the truth. Orion had been deloué, front paws only, a cruel procedure that explained some aggression, pain from walking, making him irritable with rough play. The previous family hadn't mentioned it, perhaps the cause of the cycle. This discovery added depth to Orion's story. Sophia felt a surge of anger, then determination. "We'll make it right," she vowed. Days turned to weeks. Orion's personality bloomed. He followed Sophia around like a shadow, his purr a constant soundtrack. With Luna, initial tension gave way to play-chasing toys, wrestling gently Orion, always letting her win. Spike joined, the three forming an unlikely pack: the behemoth, the spitfire, and the scrappy underdog. But not all was smooth. One evening, a knock at the door. It was Marcus, the original owner, looking sheepish. "I saw the viral post. The grandkids miss him." "Can we visit?" Sophia hesitated. He was in pain from declawing, did you know? Marcus admitted it done years ago by his wife, thinking it would tame him. Regret etched his face. "We didn't understand." Sophia allowed a supervised visit. The grandkids, now educated by their parents, approached calmly. Orion, sensing change, purred instead of chasing. It was closure, not reclamation. As months passed, Orion's fame lingered. Sophia started a blog, Life with the Behemoth, sharing stories, photos, and tips on large breed care. It went viral too, leading to sponsorships, charity events for shelters. One adventure stood out: a family hike in the forests. Orion, leashed like a dog, trotted along, drawing stares. When Spike got lost in the underbrush, Orion's keen senses led them right to him, a hero moment. Sophia and Alex's relationship deepened through it all. Talks of marriage, a house with a yard for the pets. Orion had brought them closer, a catalyst for change. A year later, Orion was unrecognizable from the frightened cat at the shelter. He lounged in sunbeams, played with his siblings, and cuddled nightly. The misunderstanding of his past faded, replaced by love. Sophia often reflected. Sometimes the biggest hearts come in the biggest packages. Orion had found his constellation, shining bright in a world that finally saw him for who he was. Thanks so much for listening. See you in the next video. Have a great day.